Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Biology for All. In this video, I'm going to talk about the countercurrent mechanism. In my previous videos, I have explained the process of urine formation. Urine formation or uropoiesis is the process of excreting metabolic waste from the body. Most terrestrial organisms need to conserve water and hence is required to release a hypertonic urine. This is done by a mechanism in the kidney called as the countercurrent mechanism or the countercurrent multiplier system. This mechanism is mainly carried out by the juxtamedullary nephrons. Now we know that the juxtamedullary nephrons are the ones which have the loop of Henle extending deep into the medulla region. So this mechanism mainly involves the arrangement of two parts of the nephron, that is the loop of Henle and the vasa recta. So let us now see the arrangement of this loop of Henle and vasa recta. So here I have drawn the part of the renal tubule and the vasa recta. This here is the descending limb, this is the ascending limb, and this part here is the loop of Henle. Surrounding that is the blood capillary, that is the vasa recta. The loop of Henle and the vasa recta lies in the medulla, whereas the PCT and the DCT lies in the cortex region. The movement of the filtrate is shown here. It moves from the descending limb, goes through the loop of Henle and then moves up through the ascending limb. Whereas the movement of blood in the vasa recta is in the opposite direction from the filtrate. So now if we compare the movement of these substances, that is the filtrate and the blood, we can see here that the filtrate moves in opposite directions in the descending limb and the ascending limb. So it's going down in the descending limb and then coming up in the ascending limb. So they are opposite to each other here. Similarly, if we look at the blood flowing in the vasa recta, here again the blood flowing near the ascending limb is opposite to it, that is the filtrate is going up in the ascending limb and the blood is going down in the vasa recta, and on the other side the filtrate is going down in the descending limb and blood is going up near the descending limb. Here the movement is counter to each other, thus the arrangement of this loop of Henle and vasa recta is called as the arrangement for the countercurrent mechanism. So let us now have a look at how the process works. So here again I am drawing the part of the nephron with the vasa recta and the collecting ducts also. So we know that the filtrate moves from the cortex region coming down to the descending limb and then moving up through the ascending limb to reach the DCT. The descending limb and the ascending limb have different permeability properties. So the descending limb is permeable to water. That means water can come out from the descending limb, whereas in the ascending limb it is impermeable to water but permeable to the salts. That means water cannot come out of this part but the salts can come up. Now here, as the filtrate is moving up to the DCT, from this filtrate sodium and chloride, that is NaCl, is pushed out by active transport. So they are actively transported out of the filtrate into the medullary region. As these salts are being actively transported out of the filtrate from the thick ascending limb, the surrounding medullary interstitium is going to be more and more concentrated with these salts. This highly concentrated medullary interstitium thus is now having a hypertonic environment. So this was the first feature which makes the medulla hypertonic. Now, the second feature here is that because of this hypertonic environment created by the thick and the thin ascending limbs, the thin ascending limb is also impermeable to water. The vasa recta near the ascending limb takes up salts, whereas the vasa recta near the descending limb will take up water. This helps create a hypertonic medullary interstitium that is necessary for a concentrated urine. So, the vasa recta near the ascending limb, when it starts to take up the salt from the medulla, the blood becomes hypertonic. As the blood in this vasa recta moves to the descending limb, it starts to take up water from there. This happens because the descending limb is permeable to water, and according to the first point, what we said, there is a hypertonic medullary environment that is created. So, this hypertonic environment allows the water from the descending limb to move into the medulla. However, as soon as the water enters into the medulla, the vasa recta surrounding the descending limb takes up the water that comes out from there and it carries it away. So, because the water is carried away by the vasa recta, that is the blood in the vasa recta, the medullary region now remains high, or a high concentration is maintained in this medullary region. The next point is that urea from the collecting duct moves into the thin ascending limb. This creates a hypertonic filtrate, that is, a highly concentrated filtrate. Other than that, there is also movement of some ions out of the collecting duct, and all this contributes to making the medullary interstitium highly concentrated. And this is essential for creating a hypertonic urine. Let us now see the changes in the osmolarity of the filtrate in the nephron. Osmolarity is the measure of solute concentration which is represented in terms of osmoles per liter. So here I have again drawn the nephron with the surrounding blood capillaries, that is the peritubular capillaries and the vasa recta. Now we know that the loop of Henle and the vasa recta lie in the medulla, and the Malpighian corpuscle, the PCT and DCT lie in the cortex. We have seen before that it is essential to maintain a highly concentrated medullary interstitium. Here, the medulla near to the cortex is the outer medulla, and the part of the medulla towards the pelvis is the inner medulla. The hypertonicity in the medulla increases from the outer to the inner medulla. So here you can see the osmolarity in the cortex is 300 and it reaches to 1200 milliosmoles per liter towards the inner medulla. The blood has a osmolarity of 300 milliosmoles per liter. So the blood that is passing through the glomerulus has a osmolarity value of 300 milliosmoles. And after ultrafiltration, the filtrate is also 300 milliosmoles. Now, as this filtrate moves from the PCT to the descending limb, the osmolarity increases from 400 to 600 to 800, then 900, and finally reaching 1200 at the bend of the loop of Henle. Now, this happens because of the loss of water molecules in the descending limb of the loop of Henle. So, as water molecules are lost from here, the concentration of the filtrate becomes higher and higher and leads to it becoming maximum at the bend. Now, this filtrate moves up into the ascending limb. So, the filtrate, which is now highly concentrated, starts moving up into the ascending limb. As it moves in the ascending limb, from the thick ascending limb, there is active transport of sodium chloride out of the filtrate. So, this causes the hypertonic filtrate to now lose the solutes. So, the osmolarity now moves from 600 to 400 and again reaches back to 300 by the time it reaches the distal convoluted tubule. Now, as it moves to the collecting ducts, it is about 200 milliosmoles. That means there is still more chance of water molecules being removed from the collecting duct. But this movement of water molecule is mainly dependent on the blood volume and the blood concentration in our body. So if there is less amount of blood concentration or blood volume, then the water molecules are reabsorbed from the collecting tubule, which leads to a concentrated urine being excreted out. So all this functionality depends on the fact that the medullary region of the kidneys maintains a high concentration of solutes. So as water is taken up by the vasa recta, as soon as it comes out from the descending limb, it leads to a higher concentration in the medulla that allows a hypertonic urine to be released.